After years of battle royales, live service shooters, and mobile gacha games dominating the landscape, something interesting is happening. 3 major MMORPGs just hit the market in the last month, and they're all taking wildly different approaches to the same question: can classic MMO design survive in 2025? Guild Wars Reforged launched December 3, 2025, with a 20-year-old game wrapped in modern tech. Ashes of Creation opened early access on December 11, 2025, promising a player-driven world that reacts to everything you do. And Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen is doubling down on old-school difficulty with major combat overhauls planned for spring 2026. The weird part? Each one is betting on something the industry said was dead. I'm breaking down all 3 games today, what they're actually delivering right now, and whether any of them are worth your time. If you find this useful, subscribe to Pulse Gaming and hit the bell. Also, affiliate links are in the description to support the channel if you decide to pick any of these up. Let's start with the safest bet. Guild Wars Reforged isn't a new game. It's ArenaNet taking their 20-year-old MMORPG and making it playable on modern hardware. They launched it December 3, 2025 for $19.99, bundling all 3 original campaigns, Prophecies, Factions, and Nightfall, into one package. Here's the part that matters. If you already own even one of those campaigns from back in the day, you get all 3 unlocked for free. ArenaNet partnered with 2 Weeks, a studio formed by former Guild Wars developers, to handle the modernization work. The updates are practical. Full controller support for Steam Deck and Xbox controllers. 6 different UI size options so you can actually read the text on a 4K monitor. Dynamic sky effects, ambient occlusion, and positional audio that takes advantage of modern GPUs without completely rebuilding the game. They added a quest tracking system and on-screen control guides because the original game assumed you knew what you were doing. Steam reviews are sitting at very positive with 88% approval. That's rare for a relaunch. Most of the praise comes from returning players who say the game still holds up mechanically. The skill-based combat system, where you choose 8 abilities from hundreds of options, apparently aged better than anyone expected. The criticism is fair though. This is still a 2005 MMO. The graphics got touched up, not rebuilt. If you're expecting Guild Wars 2 visuals, you'll be disappointed. And new players are running into the same learning curve that existed 2 decades ago, because ArenaNet didn't simplify the systems. They just made them more accessible. Forbes ran a piece arguing this is more than nostalgia bait, and they might be right. ArenaNet committed to ongoing updates beyond this launch. They're not treating this like a legacy port. They're treating it like a live game that still has an audience. Pantheon is the opposite approach. Instead of modernizing an old game, Visionary Realms is building a brand new one that plays like it's from 2004. And I mean that literally. This is a love letter to EverQuest. The game hit early access on December 13, 2024, and the development team just dropped a roadmap for early 2026 that outlines major combat and progression overhauls. They're targeting spring 2026 for a complete rework of how fighting works, how NPCs behave, how leveling progresses, and how items are distributed. The problem they're trying to solve is patchwork design. Content was built over multiple years by different teams with different directions, so rewards don't match difficulty. You might get better loot from an easier enemy than a harder one. Class restrictions on items don't make sense. The whole itemization system needs to be unified. Their solution involves templates for NPC behavior, updated combat formulas, new kill credit systems, skill progression tied to technique mastery, and an economy with actual safeguards against exploitation. The Nightfall Crypt Dungeon and Summoner class updates are scheduled for January and February 2026. This is where it gets tricky. Pantheon has about 100 hours of content right now if you're the type of player who enjoys slow, methodical progression. MMORPG.com reviewed the early access build in January 2025 and called it a successful recreation of classic MMO design. The community interactions feel genuine. The basic gameplay loop works. Character advancement is rewarding if you have patience. But here's what's missing. Most classes feel 50% to 80% complete. The monk only has skill scrolls up to level 24. The enchanter is missing iconic abilities like charm. Environmental music cuts out randomly. Combat sound effects don't always trigger. Graphics look dated even by early access standards. The game requires grouping for most content past level 5. If you're playing a low-damage class like Cleric or Enchanter, soloing feels like grinding through concrete. This is intentional design. Pantheon wants you in groups, talking to people, coordinating pulls. That's the core fantasy. But it also means if you can't find a group, you're stuck. Steam reviews are mostly positive at 73%, but recent reviews dropped to 57% mixed. Players who backed the Kickstarter are frustrated it's taken this long to reach this state. New players are bouncing off the difficulty curve and outdated visuals. Ashes of Creation is the most ambitious and the most controversial. Intrepid Studios launched Alpha 2 Early Access on Steam December 11, 2025, after 8 years of development. They're charging $49.99 for access to an alpha build that still has 2 beta phases planned before full release. The pitch is compelling: a reactive world where player actions shape civilization. Dynamic node systems that evolve based on activity. Player-driven economy. Open-world PvP and PvE encounters. Settlement sieges. The Harbinger system that throws waves of corruption into zones, forcing players to fight through escalating danger for rare loot. The execution is rough. Within hours of launch, Steam reviews tanked to mixed, with 55% positive. Server issues locked players out during the first day. Those who got in found missing cosmetics they'd purchased years ago. The cash shop is fully functional, while core systems remain incomplete. The new player experience is particularly brutal. You get a Destiny system that's basically a constellation of micro-objectives to teach you mechanics that should have been covered in quests. Basic fundamentals like blocking, equipping gear, or summoning your mount aren't explained. Gear drops are scarce. Enemy encounters drag. MMORPG.com called it potential, tangled, and early game problems. There are sparks of genius where the promise shows through, but bugs, incomplete systems, and quality of life issues drain enjoyment from the experience. They spent 10 hours still trying to find solid footing in what should be basic gameplay. The community is split hard. Some players argue this is real MMO design, not the casual stuff dominating the market. They point to the node system, the summoner class that just launched, the fishing mechanics, the scope of the world. They say if you don't have patience, this game isn't for you. Others are calling it a cash grab. The game's been in development since 2017, nearly 8 years to reach this state. Intrepid Studios is asking players to bankroll development through early access, while promising features that might not arrive for years. The creative director Stephen Sharif told Reddit users in late December 2024 that if they want to play a game, they shouldn't participate in testing. He said Alpha 2 will be a long process, where systems will feel scuffed and incomplete because they are. There are also claims of forum censorship. Multiple Steam reviewers report that moderators deleted critical posts and banned users before the early access launch. One reviewer said they deleted every single critical post about the game hours before release, many from people who'd spent hundreds or thousands supporting development. So where does that leave us? Guild Wars Reforged is the safe play. $20 for 3 campaigns that still work mechanically, with ongoing support promised. If you want a complete MMO experience right now, that's your option. Pantheon is the patience test. If you're willing to deal with incomplete systems and slow progression in exchange for old-school MMO design, it might be worth watching through 2026 as those combat overhauls roll out. Ashes of Creation is the gamble. There's genuine ambition here, but you're paying $50 to test an alpha that could take years to reach beta, let alone launch. If you approach it as development access rather than a game, maybe that's fine, but most players looking for entertainment should probably wait. The MMORPG genre isn't dead. It's just fragmenting into different audiences with different expectations. Let me know in the comments which of these you're actually playing. And if you found this breakdown useful, subscribe to Pulse Gaming.